Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Deep Dive Podcast. This is episode 24. Yes, hello, hello, hello. Tonight we do have Heather from Coalfield Manor in the house with us. Thank you so much for
Welcome, Heather.
joining. Um, yes, and we're going to get right into talking with her in just a minute. I do have a couple of things that we are going to talk about. We do not have a podcast scheduled this Sunday. Uh, Three of us from the team is going to be on an investigation back to the Garnett house in Garnett,
Yeah.
Kansas. Um, Kathy, Misty, and I did talk yesterday. We are going to do a review of the Haunted Commercial Hotel. We're going to record it and then we're going to set it out to go ahead and air Sunday night in place. So you guys will have something to watch. We
Oh,
just won't
cool.
be live. And then next Wednesday, June 10th, we do have Rob and Teresa from the Haunted Commercial Hotel joining us.
Cool.
So you guys are going to get a double whammy of the Haunted Commercial Hotel. But that location is fabulous. So very, very history oriented. And the way that they're doing it, it's awesome. So anyway,
Cool.
welcome to the show, Ms. Heather. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So why
Sure.
don't you tell everybody where you guys are and a little bit about Coalfield Manor?
Sure. We are in Southern West Virginia. Coalfield Manor is the business that we opened last year. We were, well, not we, but it was formerly a funeral home that went up for sale. And we've always, I've always loved West Virginia. So, because I'm originally from Massachusetts, it was just perfect. And I couldn't not do it when I found it.
Cool.
So whatever made you be interested in wanting to own a haunted location?
It's just the natural progression, right? You get interested in the paranormal, you have experiences, you start getting out, going more investigating, doing stuff. You want more equipment, you want this, you want that. You know what I mean? You do it all, you keep going. And I did have a little paranormal business, a little store back home in Massachusetts for a while. And, when I closed that down to move back, bring all my stuff back home and try to do it online, because it wasn't a great location for the foot traffic I needed to really get my business going.
Sure.
So, I went home and I was miserable, absolutely miserable. And I would doom scroll on Zillow with keyword searches, and funeral was one of my keyword searches. And this popped up and I was like, it is perfect. And, I just kept poking Bob and here I am.
So what was it like? How do I want to say that? So you said you kept poking Bob. And we talked before the show, you're an investigator yourself.
Yes.
With a small group of friends. Does he not believe in it? Does he what's Bob?
He didn't in the beginning. He didn't believe in it. And he's still a skeptic. Like he's still very skeptical about everything, and which I think is great, because I don't trust people. So I have trust issues about what people might be doing to mess with you while you're trying to investigate. So, I appreciate his approach, but he's so supportive of me that he doesn't, he doesn't pick on me or anything. He'll do it with me. He'll investigate with me. It's not his thing. He would never seek it out on his own. But if I'm like, hey, babe, come on, he'll go with me.
That's awesome. And I was just going to say, shout out to him, because he does support you and he shouts out your location all the time.
Oh, I know. He's my hero.
Yeah, that's great. So you said that you did searches on Zillow. How long did you look for a location before you stumbled upon the funeral home?
Oh, a couple of years. And I had found other ones. Like I had found a funeral home in, I thought, it's Pittsburgh. The other day I was saying Philadelphia, but it wasn't. It was in Pittsburgh. And he was like, absolutely not. He's like, there's no way. It's 9 hours away. And it's funny because all of his reasons for a why no to that one in Pittsburgh, it's actually worse here. But he was right at the end of the day. It's still a big city, and like that's what we're trying to escape from ultimately. It's like so I we didn't buy it, and I kept on keeping on, and eventually this one popped up. I showed it to him. He kind of chuckled at me. And then one day he was talking to a bunch of friends of his, and he was describing a great retirement location. He rides motorcycles. He comes from dirt road, dirt bike riding and stuff. So he's been on two wheels his whole life. And they were just talking, those guys that he's chatting with, they all come from dirt bike racing. And he was talking about if he could find a place near the mountains, so he had good motorcycle roads, and if he had, just be able to get out there and enjoy life without people telling you how to live.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it, so it worked out. And I know we knew he'd be happy here too, because we're 2.5 miles from the Hatfield McCoy trailhead, from Pinnacle Creek trailhead, and the motorcycle riding around here is just gorgeous. So he's happy as a clam.
That's awesome. So Buck's Paranormal Podcast, popping in to say hi. Hello. Yes, he is in the UK, which is awesome. So this year is your second season.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For the location.
Second season. Last year we did 3 months. This year we decided to try 6 because we had a really good response. But it was like by the time we got going, I was like, we're closed.
Right.
So that was kind of a bummer. And so I'm back here again. We figured 6 months, and my son has another 2 years in high school. So when he graduates, I'm going to be down here to keep the business open year round.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
cool. Tell us about Coalfield Manor. We know it was a funeral home, but what is a little bit of the history?
Yeah. So it's been a bunch of different names, as most funeral homes are. If they go with different families, it's usually a family name. So it was the Tankersley Funeral Home when we purchased it. Before we purchased it, they left everything here, which was a blessing and a curse because there's a lot of paperwork we've got to take care of.
Mm.
But on the flip side of that, we've got the embalming table. We've got all this other stuff the embalming equipment. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure I can embalm someone if I tried hard enough. There's an apartment upstairs. It's a pretty big one. So we'll be happy. I can see, and the town's great. The town is so wonderful. So, I can't remember when they moved in here. The building was built in 1918, but the funeral home didn't come in until later. It's one of those things that I'm still working on putting, a timeline history together. And it's rough because Mullins had a big flood in 2001. They lost a ton of records and nothing was digitized before that. So, a lot of it's word of mouth. I've been very confused with conflicting statements from people in town, and it's just going to take more research and digging. But I keep my newspaper subscriptions active and be able to dig through all those, old newspapers and stuff and try to gather some more information.
Sure.
You guys say hi in the comments. If you have questions, please ask. And we will get them over to Heather so she can get them answered for you.
Sure.
Tim?
So, welcome, Heather. Sorry, didn't get to do it. You got me really curious about Coalfield Manor in the first place, because I understand why it's called Coalfield. You're in southern West Virginia. You probably guys got coal mines everywhere out there. So
Yes.
that's interesting. Is that how the name came about? Was because it was a coal field, or was that someone's name?
When we were setting it up, we have to drive. It takes about a half hour to get to Lowe's from here, and you spend the majority of it on this highway where you're the only person on the highway because it's a new one and it ends at us, but it's called the Coalfields Expressway. So as it goes down through the coal fields, I think it's going to go into Virginia and into Kentucky, but stay in that southern, the coal field section.
Okay.
But right now it starts up in Beckley and comes down to us. But we drove that thing so much. And I was trying to come up with a name, and I was talking to Bob about it, and one of the back and forth. So we were getting wood or pipes, or I don't even know what we were getting at that point. But, because I didn't want to name it after myself, because it's not about me. And I didn't want a really like creepy name, because I don't want to scare anybody off. There's nothing evil here. And I want people to feel comfortable coming in here to investigate. So I was like, I want something that represents the area. And I just like one of those times I was in the car and I'm like, Coalfield. I don't like that. What would I put, and everything's either a mansion, house,
Sure.
or different, you know what I mean? Like all those words to explain a domicile or something. So I'm like, manor sounds good.
I agree. Sounds really cool. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about the structure of the place. Can you tell us how big it is, what it's made of? Is it brick? Is it limestone? Has it got a basement? Tell us about the structure and what size it is.
Okay. There's a lot of interesting. We're still figuring the structure out. That sounds crazy. I know, but you'll understand when I explain it to you. So the first building was our main glass doors, that the building that all like the funeral home people would enter through. That building was built in 1918. It's the McGraw-Worrell building. Right next to it is another building. I think it's been a meat shop. It's been a garage. It's been a couple different things. Like it's just been a bunch of different things. It is now connected. So I've got a second front door that should be for the other, the next building, but they're all connected at this point. And then I have a built-on garage that was added on. And then out back on the first floor is a whole nother apartment. You walk out the back door and out the back of this building, and it's like you're walking into the back of that building. So that their old front door is now my back door, if that makes sense, because there's like an alleyway down there. So that's all on the first floor. The first building has two other floors above it, but it was originally built as a 2-story structure.
Okay.
Because at the time that it was built, purpose built, when you walk in, those old department stores where everything's behind the counter, and then they'll have that elevated like catwalk going around up top, and you can see more shelving up there, and they'll go up the stairs and they'll walk the catwalk. That's what it was. So the first floor used to go up super high. So they covered that over. So now it's like normal height.
Okay.
Total bummer, because you go up on the second floor. They built this this in between, this weird space. And, a lot of it towards the back is attic and storage. And you get out into the rafters, old casket space. My bedroom right now is on the first floor because there's an apartment on the third floor that I think was had last anything done to it was sometime in the early 1970s. And Anyways,
You
so
updated?
we are completely renovating that, and Bob's doing that all by himself, and he
Wow.
has about 6 or 7 days a year to work on it. You know, because he comes
Wow.
down and it's like, well, if he'll drive down, he'll take us. Sometimes he'll drive on a Sunday and Monday. He's here for 2 days over the weekend. You know, he'll spend a little time working on something because he can't come and not have accomplished something. And then he'll go back. But then he wants to enjoy it too. So it's fine. I've just accepted that, you know, we're going to live in this kind of temporary housing facility for a while. And I'm fine. I got my big comfy bed. I got a nice TV. It's all it's all I need. The only downfall to that is we have to share a bedroom with our 17-year-old son when he is here. So that's really fun. But eventually we will be up into the apartment on the 3rd floor and living up there. So, but the people have mentioned that, so the basement in the first building, the 1918 building, there's a hatch that you had to lower a ladder down into, which there's a ramp at the bottom. So you had to lower the ladder down in crooked, and it was just super sketchy. So Bob built like a wooden ladder because it was too steep. We couldn't do stairs to walk down. So he just did, you know, like a built-in ladder. And so that works awesome. And it's just a boiler down there. I've been told we're connected to tunnels. I've been told about a tiki bar in the basement. I've been told about all sorts of wonderful stories about Prohibition, about the Underground Railroad, about everything you could possibly imagine, right? I can only access the tunnel, like I can only access the portion of my basement under that one building through that little hatch, the boy down there. You know, but it's just a dirt. That's the old coal chute is down there. You know, that's it. And there's no sign on any of the walls of a bricked up tunnel. There's no sign of anything being covered over. But so I'm like, there's no way. And we don't think so. Okay. So that's that building. So this other building, I want to know how these people got down there. I'm trying to get, like, I get people that's like, oh, my aunt used to tell me stories, or my grandfather would tell me these stories. I'm like, please bring somebody that was actually in there once. I want somebody who was physically in the tiki bar drinking to tell me how, like, when you approached the building, how did you get into it? Because is it under these other 2 buildings and covered over? Maybe. I mean, out next to the embalming room apartment, like in the garage, there's like this other square that we can tell it used to be, yet another building. So I have a foundation that was like ripped down. Something was torn down on my property too. So I don't know what that, you know, what's out there. So if anybody knows about the tiki bar, please, you know, we haven't pulled up any of the rugs because we figured if we're going to paint, we might as well just leave the rugs down until we're done painting. And then we'll replace them as we go. But, you know,
So like
maybe we'll find, we'll find something sealed over or a hatch, or find an entrance way. Like when we rip up the carpets, see something old, but it's a cement floor. We know that where if there's any hatches hiding, that's what we don't. So
sounds like a very interesting place. I can see why you picked it out. It sounds like a pretty good sized complex.
It is, and it's so confusing, and I don't understand it. And like when I say that we're still getting used to it and learning it, the thermostat for the apartment out in the back on the 1st floor, which is attached to the second building, you have to come in, go to the 1st building, go upstairs to the 2nd floor, and turn the heat on up there. So, and that's like, light switches are in the wrong places. It's just, it's baffling, but,
sounds like they hired that secondary electrician to come in and do a lot of work.
It's interesting.
Well, that's really cool. I'm glad you like this place. So I'd like to talk a little bit about you. Why are you interested in the paranormal? What gets you to where you want to be in this Coalfield Manor?
Yeah, so I was a very doom and gloom kind of kid. And short story is my grandfather was a pedophile. I didn't like being touched by older people. Nobody knew about him. And I was an angry child, and I would get violent when people touched me.
Mm,
So I was just very dark and very icky, and I got put in a school that was part of it was the children's part for Metropolitan State Hospital, just outside of Boston. And so I went to school there for 4 years in the 80s. Thankfully, they deemed my home life was fine. You know, my mom is a saint. But so I was able to come home at night, where most of the kids that were there were wards of the state. And there was a small handful of us that got to go home, and we were just the day students. So I can't say that my experience was, crazier than because definitely the kids that were there overnight had it far worse. But it taught me a lot of life lessons, and it just it made me go into this whole different, it was just, having that be given to me as a result of my grandfather was, now they didn't know yet, so I completely understand. Like, my mom had no idea. That's my dog. You hear him barking. So it's not like there's no blame on them, because they had no idea. My grandfather lived in New York. My mother lived in Massachusetts with me, and I'd go back to see that. I didn't tell her, so how was she supposed to know? Kind of thing.
Okay.
But so I got put in a school like that, and that kind of started my creepy, weird, dark life. And then I had a paranormal experience at 14, and it was off. I was just like, oh, okay. Then my dad died when I was 22, and I was like, oh, I wanted to try to make this contact metaphysically. And so I started, with the pendulums and all that kind of stuff, trying to make contact with my dad. And I realized I could. And I realized he would show me other signs, and I could interact with him in other ways. And then I realized I could interact with other people. And then it just started, you know what I mean? It just snowballed. And life you get to working, you get married, you have kids, we did all that stuff. And then I was trying to figure out, how to do, I loved it, but how to get more involved with stuff like that. And then the TV shows started.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so there's more ways to do this than just what I'm doing. And there's places that you can go to do this. Yeah. So that was it. I was all over it. And like I said, from there, I started a team. That was kind of crazy. I don't think I would ever have another team ever again. Not that there's nothing wrong with any of the people. It was just navigating all the drama and just the interpersonal workings of everybody. And then finally I was just like, forget it. So
Okay.
I am part of a group. It's not my group. So if there's something that they're going to do that I don't want to do, I don't have to. But we do work interchangeably. And they're in Massachusetts. Although one of them is moving down here too with me. She fell in love too, and just bought a house. So
Gotcha.
closed on her. Yeah, she
Well, that's
closed on
pretty
her
cool.
house just last week, and now they accepted her offer down here. So we're excited.
Well, cool. That's really good thing. You're surrounded by friends now. So let me ask you this: why Coalfield Manor? Why would Brenda and I go there? What would be? Tell us why. What's the attraction? What's the draw?
I can tell you, it's been very active. So when we bought it on a wing and a prayer. We got to view it and see it, but we didn't really get to investigate or anything. But it was just an awesome location, even if even so, when we bought it, we weren't 100% sure what we were doing with it.
Okay.
Bob had these ideas. I had these ideas. Bob wanted to redo the apartment and rent it out for Airbnb. He's like, yeah, then we can stay there when it's not rented out. We can go down. And I'm like, there's going to be other people doing things on my bed, on my couch, on my wherever. And I'm like, I can't, I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't do that. I could have an Airbnb that I never stayed at, or that I only stayed at like very infrequently. But so I was just like, and then
I understand.
anyways. And then we were talking about possibly side-by-side rentals. And while we were having this discussion and going back and forth, and we were doing the renovations, and I said, listen, you know what I can do with a disheveled building? So he's like, all right. He's like, well, we'll try. We'll see how it goes. And so I did the whole thing. I got the LLC. I got got everything set up, and this is what we're doing. And
cool.
I'm hoping to make this work because ideally this would be perfect to keep Manor for investigating. I do have a small metaphysical store here as well.
Okay.
And then, but we've had a ton of activity. So we have the funeral parlor. I cannot say parlor. Parlor. We have a casket in there. Bob was kind enough to build me a stand for it with a full set of stairs, and
cool.
the casket is bolted to the whole. It's nice being married to a welder. Because I didn't want it on the floor, but I didn't want to put it up on anything because I'm like, I don't want anybody falling, trying to get in or out of it. So, but I bet you there's a railing and everything. It's great.
That's awesome.
But a lot of people report getting touched, being in the casket, as well as on the embalming table. If you get on the embalming table, people will get a lot of activity. We have a small child that is out in the embalming room. He likes to hide under the table. He does come out, and will say hi to us. And then there is a woman back there who, she doesn't like the ladies, but she loves the men. Whether or not her and the boy are together in any way, I don't know. I don't know that she comes out of there. I think there's a mortician still here because some of the conversations we've had, especially when you get on the table, does not like living people. It's not right. It's to him. It's not right that like you're dead. You're not dead. What am I supposed to do with you? Kind of thing. The second floor, for us, just a big square of a room is good for EVPs and stuff. But we get tons of activity with people touching, the light up. They love the light up stuff by the casket. Anything that lights up out in the casket, forget it. They love it. And then even the meeting room that we have, which is another viewing room, where people mostly set up all of their equipment in that room. Okay. And it seems kind of plain in there. It's not, decorated the same. But like, I always tell people investigate in there too, because people have had stuff move on them while they're just sitting there. It's just wild. I was doing an interview. I had somebody came to do an interview here with me the other night for their podcast. And we had a disembodied voice happen in the middle of it.
Awesome.
Like I was so distracted. I'm trying to answer a question and I'm like, and then I'm like, because I'm thinking about this voice and I'm looking because I see the guys that was behind the camera. He's walking towards it. So I'm like trying to still talk while thinking, did he hear it too? And my brain cannot hold two thoughts at the same time. So I just was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm really distracted right now. I'm like, did you guys hear a voice? And they were both like, yes.
Wow.
And he actually heard, he's like, it was a small boy. And he's like, it's just me. Like, and that's what he said he heard was, it's just me. Wow. So I think it's my boy from the embalming room. And he was reporting seeing like shadows walking back and forth by the casket. So now I don't have the gift of sight,
Okay.
which, some people do. I wish I did. I do not, unfortunate, but um he was telling me he could see them walking, and
Mhm.
he's like, your dog goes down there and jumps up on the chair a lot. I'm like, yeah, oh, he does that all the time. He's like, yeah, they like him.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like, they sit
Wow.
around in the chair and play with him. I was like,
Wow.
Okay.
Cool. And you're gonna live here, right?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
part-time right
Wow.
now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then, like I said, so the apartment is my eventual home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now there's a little, in my gift shop, so my gift shop is the old sales room where you would come in and you would pick out your casket and stuff. And there's a accordion door that
Okay.
partitions, because this room goes all these rooms just are long, narrow rooms, right?
Gotcha.
So this one, they put an accordion door in it, and there was all caskets on one side and urns on the other side.
Okay.
And so you could come in, they could have that door closed while you're talking with them or whatever, and then you go back when you want to pick out your casket. So my bedroom
Okay.
is in that showroom.
Oh,
That's
cool.
where so it's just a big long room. So we're like, I'm at one end, my dresser, my little corner of life, and then there's a guest bed, and then all the way down the other end is my son's bed.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
One big
but
room. That's okay.
sometimes he gets kicked if we've got more people. If we need both the beds for guests, and he gets kicked to the curb on an air mattress.
Oh, that
But
I understand that. Oh, I got one more. I got one more
yeah,
question. I'll
yeah.
let Brenda take over. What? So the dugout basement downstairs that you talked about going down the ladder. Do you allow people to go down there, or have you any experiences in that room?
It's funny. I've told people they can go down there, not during public groups. Like I can't have it open when it's crazy. It's one of those things like, and I kind of want to be there while you have it open. Just because if, you're walking through the room, not paying attention, it's just a hole in the floor when you
Gotcha.
have that open. So I don't like that. If it's like two people and they're both down there together, knock yourself out. Have a great
Gotcha.
time. But I won't. If I get a big group, I just don't want. It's too much
Okay.
with the ladder, the open hole.
Okay. Sure.
So
Well, you
it's
mentioned underground.
discretionary.
Yeah. You mentioned possible underground railroad. I wonder if there's a place to hide slaves in the day for the underground railroad, because I live in
Yeah, I
Winterset.
don't.
Yeah, I live in
Sure.
Winterset, Iowa, and we had the underground railroad here. We got a library that
Hmm.
actually has a slot underneath the floor of the dining room where they hid slaves in. So I wonder if that's
Well, I mean,
what it could have been.
it wouldn't surprise me. So I believe. So when West Virginia broke off during the Civil War, that when they broke off from Virginia, um, there were a couple counties that were not happy. And I believe my
Hmm.
county was one of them. Ours, I know
Hmm.
McDowell and Mingo didn't want to break off. They stuck. But I mean, it was still a mismatch, of
Sure.
people. It was, warbly. Um,
Right.
most people, they go back in their family history and they're like, yeah, well, this one was on that side, this one was on that side.
Hmm.
Um, but so it wouldn't surprise me if they, but this would not. I
Sure.
don't think that this would have necessarily been friendly territory
Sure.
for
Well,
them here.
West Virginia was a divided state, same as Tennessee during the Civil
Hmm.
War. But we won't go into that
Yeah.
because I'm a Civil War buff. So I'll turn it back over to Brenda and let her ask the
Okay.
question.
All right. Hi, Myra. We didn't miss you. Just been a lot of talking going on, but thanks for joining. You guys, if you have questions, get them in the comments for us, okay? Um, what was the deciding factor in the location that made you go, you know what? There is stuff here.
Well, we bought it before we knew for sure that it was haunted. I
Mhm.
had a suspicion, and it just made me happy. Like, because I didn't know we were going to open it up and do this with it. Like I said at the time, but it made me happy to know that I could live in a funeral home. It just
Been
so
there, done that.
Yeah. So
Yes, that she
and
has.
it checked all the boxes we wanted for for our retirement. You know, the way of life, it's much slower down here, and the people are so friendly, and it's just, if you need something, they're there to help you. Like I don't know if you guys saw on the news, some guy fell on an escalator in Boston, getting onto the subway a couple of weeks ago. He was at the bottom of the escalator, and his something in his coat was wrapped up, and and people, you just see the cameras on him the whole time for 20 minutes while he's slowly choked to death, and people are just walking past him
Wow,
as he's strangling, and there was nobody gonna give him a hand,
that's
and he
crazy.
unfortunately died. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live around people like that, and that's what Massachusetts has become.
Mm.
So you come down here, everybody's like, oh, if you need something, and they do. We had, no joke, when we bought it, we were here. Well, we were getting we were meeting the cable guy to hook the internet up for us so we could put our cameras up. This was right when we bought it. It was cold. I was miserable. We had no running water. It was just a whole thing. But a couple streets over, a truck had backed into a telephone pole. A Dollar General truck had backed into a telephone pole and took the power out to the whole downtown. Well, he can't hook up the internet because he can't connect to anything with no power.
Mm.
So he's like, oh, my buddy lives up the street. He's like, I'll go get his generator. Come on, bring it on down here and we'll get you up. And I was just like, listen, I don't want to be responsible for somebody's generator. I'm like, and I need to set up cameras afterwards anyway. Clearly, we're not going to be, I don't want to keep. So we didn't. And I'm like, and I don't want to put you out either. When I can't do what I need to afterwards anyway. So, we had declined, but like, who does that? So it made me, and that's the people. That's who they are down here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
so
what was your experience in the location that made you go, you know what, maybe we do have something here?
the day we closed, we drove here, and Bob was doing stuff and banging around and making phone calls and whatever downstairs. So I went up to the second floor and, got my recorder out and just was doing some EVPs, and I got a really strong one. Now it was with the DR60, so clarity, no. But it was a really strong one when I was talking about the buildings here, and I was like, whoa. So then I started getting, that. Did I have more than that? I think I had a couple things with me that time that we came down, but I didn't have like all my equipment. But when we started coming down to stay and start doing some stuff, I eventually brought, all of my equipment down. And I've been able to play with it since then. So,
Okay.
and like I said, they love the lights. Love the lights.
So if you got things that light up, make sure you take them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say anything. They'll like the EVPs on the second floor, the lights. Yeah, they'll play with it, and they interact. And they got somebody posted a EVP that they got in the embalming room from last weekend, and she had gotten it in the old bedroom back there, and then also in the room where the actual embalming table is. So she got it in two separate areas. So I heard it. It was clear enough to hear right off her phone. You didn't need headphones or anything. And it was so easy to make out. When she posted it online, it's a little harder to make out. but I know like listening to it straight out of her phone, and it was the exact same phrase both times because she was, trying to figure out who she was interacting with, and she got an actual name. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
And he repeated it. He repeated it when she's like, she's, she's like talking again. She's like, I'm not trying to patronize you or but could you just repeat it just for confirmation? If you could repeat it again. And he repeated the exact same phrase.
Awesome.
So that was wild. So
that's validation is what it is. That's exactly what you look for. Yep. Cool.
But personal experiences, the people that get touched, the temperature changes around them, them feeling something like brushing up against them, walking around, it's all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that as well.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Wow. That's a lot. And it just kind of makes you, like it moves it up the list just a little bit. Yeah. Hi, Dave. I did that a little bit ago, but hi, welcome in. So I'll wait on those questions until later. Tim, do you?
Well,
you got more? I know you do.
I mean, don't want to hold you up. Okay.
No, it's for later before we end.
Okay. So you're talking about preservation. Do you see more activity now that you're trying to remodel or try to preserve? Are you trying to preserve the building back the way it was? I know you're making it useful so you can live in, and there's certain updates you got to do.
Half and half.
The bulk of the building.
Well, I mean, we're not ripping down walls or doing any of that down here. It's going to be all paint and wallpaper stuff that we change on the first floor and eventually the carpeting. But it's not, it's the renovations upstairs in the apartment. I'll tell you, that is so quiet. I've let people go up there while we're not living there. I'll tell them, like, if you want to go, because they've asked for it. I'm like, you can go check it out, that for sure. I have gotten no activity up there, very little. I've spent some pretty boring hours up there, and right now there's no air conditioning, so it's going to be fun in the summer on the third floor with no AC,
I bet
all the windows closed. Yeah.
Sure. So it makes you wonder when you're looking up the history what the third floor is actually used for if there's no activity up there, because usually when you renovate it stirs up things.
Yeah, that was the early funeral home. They lived there. Yeah, it was the people that ran, and they're still here in town. They I want to sit down with them and like with my notebook, and really talk to them. But they were kids; they grew up there. As children, and like my son, they've been here. I've met both of them briefly, and my son knows their grandkids now. So my son met their grandkids just bumming around town last summer. And hi, you want to come up? So. Oh my goodness, Patty. Oh. This is Sue. He'll hopefully just lie down. Say hi.
Cute dog.
That's a face. Hopefully we'll get, be able to have them over sometime and talk to them and see what they remember, the ins and outs of the building. But
that'd be cool.
The one time one of them was in the building was like not the time to ask them to show me around the things that they remember, because we had a full house of people for a meet and greet. So,
Sure.
But
sure. Well, hopefully you figure that out and find it out. So I want to talk a little bit more about you. Metaphysical store. Tell me about your store and what you operate. I'm kind of get a little more idea of who you are.
Oh, yeah. So it was called Haunted Emporium. It was in Whitensville, Massachusetts, which is, it's not central Mass, but it's not the eastern Mass either.
Okay.
And the state gets quieter the more west you go. But we own the building. This is what it boils down to. We have 3 commercial properties, small, just single shop commercial properties out there, as retirement, because like I said, my husband, he's a welder, he owns a welding company. We don't have a 401k. We don't have, that type of investment.
Okay.
So we bought these properties as rentals to, help us during our retirement. So basically one of our tenants moved out, and I wanted to try it. I just wanted to try it. So I did. I moved in, and I had people come. It was a lot like in the beginning. There was a big surge of everybody checking out what was new. And then it just dwindled. And the best month I had was a $50 loss. So it eventually
Wow.
hit the point where I'm like, this is stupid, because I'm losing money every month being here, because I just wasn't getting the foot traffic that I needed. Had I been in a different location, I'm sure I would have done great, but it is what it is. And so just packed it up, moved all the product back home, and rented it out. And now at least it's not, it's not just a waste anymore. But
Okay. Well, that's how you got started. I'll tell you what got started, but what does your store consist of? What do you have? And what crystals? I mean, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I've got some crystals, not super crystal heavy, herbs, oils, incense, Ouija boards, pendulums, tarot, Lenormand
Okay.
cards. I'm a Lenormand reader, so I do carry those, as well as the tarot and the oracle. T-shirts, keychains, tchotchke, all sorts of
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
And then I'll do custom stuff too for people as well. But it's mostly all the like when you come in, my herb wall has probably got 20 herbs. Like but they're very specific to either spirit communication, protection of some sort, an offering of some sort. You
Okay.
know what I mean? It's not like you're not going to catch your next husband with making any potions out of my herbs. So
Okay.
it's not a full, if that makes sense.
Okay. Is this something that you teach or something that you tell people to be informed of? I mean, is there something in your curriculum that you do? Because you got me interested now. So, right.
So yeah, I mean, I'll do all sorts of stuff. Anything, if people want stuff. I do occasionally open, like this started as just a gift shop so I was on the other side of the building, and it literally was just a gift shop for the people coming to investigate. It wasn't anything crazy. And it was mostly just t-shirts and, a couple little knick-knacky things that I had left over from the store.
Okay.
And we had a issue with the roof. So when we bought the building, we knew we needed to put a new roof on. And the one of the rooms on the 3rd floor was a complete and utter disaster. But they had this contraption, with tarps and a bucket and a sump pump in the bucket in the sink, and that and it was managed. Not great, but it was managed. So we hired a roofer, and he came down and did half the job, and he actually made it worse at one point. He told us we were completely buttoned up, and then he came back while we were gone to do something. I'm not sure what he did, but he opened something back up when he was back, and we weren't here to realize that. So now, instead of having that one room on the 3rd floor be destroyed, it was all the way down, and my gift shop was directly underneath the leak.
Wow.
So my gift shop got totaled, basically. And so I moved it, and it's going to take forever to renovate that room. So I just locked the door,
Mhm.
gave the key to Bob.
Here you go, Bob.
There you go, Bob. And I moved over. This was like our living room,
Oh,
for when we were where we were living. And this, like my desk and like everything, this was like my son's glorified gaming setup. So I kicked him to the curb. And, I'm like, you're 17, sit on the floor. What do you want from me? Get out of here.
Mhm.
It's a 7,000 square foot building. Go find somewhere else to be. And,
Gotcha.
yeah, so, but
Gotcha.
yeah, so I moved the store over here, but this room's bigger. So now I needed more stuff. So I'm still trying to fill it. So,
Oh, I got you.
but
So you,
it's
that's
coming.
pretty cool. That sounds, that'd be an interesting place to come and look and take a see what's going on.
Yeah.
So, what town do you live in again?
This is Mullins, West Virginia, spelled with an
And
E.
just about where is that in the state of West Virginia, in the southern part? But
It's in the southern part. We've only got one county south of us.
oh,
So in the state.
wow,
So
you are
yep.
down there quite a way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
McDowell County is directly south of us. So and that's we're right
Oh,
on
okay.
we're not far from I'm in eastern Wyoming County. So
Okay.
but we
Okay.
are for paranormal people. The old hospital in College Hill is about 2 hours in one direction, and Lake Shawnee is about 45 minutes in the other direction. So
Okay.
we're
There
kind
you
of like
go.
we're down there with them in the bottom rung, in between
Okay.
the two.
That narrows it down a little bit better. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. What else did I write down here? Funeral home. Oh yes, Pinnacle Creek. You said the
Yeah.
Pinnacle Creek Trail System. Is it haunted? Is that trail system? Is anywhere out there outside of your domain?
So, I mean, these mountains are rich. There's so much going on here. Um, and currently we're in the water fight right now. We had two very mysterious things blow in our county, in Wyoming County, and then also in Wayne County. Transformers, something blew. I don't know, but something's leaching out, and so the water's like I had to go buy a bubbler, and it's like we can't
Okay.
drink the water.
Okay.
So there's that. There's all the mining as well. There are things alive in these hills that do not surprise me in the slightest.
Mhm.
That
Oh,
there's an energy here. And I think there are earth spirits in this whole region that are just unhappy with the care
okay.
for the earth. And we're fighting for it, and we're fighting the data center fight.
Hmm.
Point Pleasant and the
Yeah.
Mothman I can the Mothman's got a place he can go destroy. Like I love AI and I use it, and I do love it, and I know that it's a not in my backyard argument. But it just sucks, these places. Like there's got to be something better. Like I don't know, there's just got to be a better way than like destroying all of our water.
Okay.
Because there's so many creeks and stuff around here. It would be so cool if kids could just go go wade in
Yeah.
the creek,
Sure.
but they just can't.
Yeah.
So
You're in the Appalachian Mountain Range, so you
yes.
gotta have plenty of water up there. All right, Brenda, we're getting up there in that hour time, so go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So, how do people get a hold of you to book an investigation?
All the information is on the website at coalfieldmanor.com. And there's just an email. My email is coalfieldmanor@gmail.com. And they just send me an email. There's a calendar on my website, so you can see what dates are available for rental. And yeah, just if you see an open date, the prices and everything are right on there for both the 6 to 12 and then the full overnight. And I'll send you a deposit link. I do require a deposit to hold your night. But the rest can be paid at the time, and it's refundable up to 2 weeks before the date of the investigation.
Okay. And then there's places for people to camp out.
Indoor camping, yes. So if people want to do a sleepover, we suggest that they bring an air mattress, cots, whatever bedding they want, and they can sleep wherever. And we do, like, the first floor is air conditioned, so you're not going to sleep in a sweltering, sweaty, and even in the winter, even though we're only open through Halloween right now this year. But even in the cooler, I've got heat, in the building too. So.
Okay. And then, so you have one that you can do 6 to midnight, and then what's the other one if they do an overnight?
It's 6 to 8 a.m.
6 to 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's some long hours.
Yeah, some of them don't sleep.
That's us. We don't sleep.
Oh my God. Not me. Not me.
No.
I require my sleep. I have more video from my friend of me in my sleeping bag, and he's like, "Get up!" And I'm like, "No." Like,
yeah, we investigate until we can't investigate anymore, or until it goes super quiet. Like, if it gets super quiet and there is absolutely nothing going on, then we'll give it up for the night. But other than that,
no,
we're diehards, man.
We watch the sun come up. So
my old age kicks in, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
I know what old age is like. Believe me.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're there. And then you're on Facebook. Is there any other social platforms that you're on?
So a little bit. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, but not as much. It's mostly Facebook, where I post a lot of the stuff. But on all of those, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, in my stories, when I do open the store, if I'm gonna open up for some dates for people to walk in and shop, I'll put those in my stories as they open, because I don't have a regular open schedule.
Okay. And then, do you have any events coming up that you're going to be a part of?
Yeah. We have a metaphysical fair is going to be here June 27th. So we run that. So this group has done public ghost hunts here, and the woman that runs it is just a lovely lady. So we I told her, she's like, if you ever think of something you want to do, let me know. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to do a metaphysical fair, but everybody I know is in Massachusetts. So I was like, I don't have any metaphysical vendor contacts for down here.
Okay.
But so she's like, I got them. I'm like, okay, then because they do a haunt fests at Lake Shawnee. They did a haunt fest in Hinton. Like, it's crazy. They take over whole towns. Our downtowns too are like, so you gotta keep that in mind. It's not like these are big cities. Sure. Like Mullins, I believe last time I looked up, has a population just under 1,500. So they're not, you know what I mean? They're not huge downtown areas. Everything's pretty walkable if you're downtown. But they came and did take people around, and it was great. We had a lot of fun. But so they'll be back to do a metaphysical fair, and then there'll be an investigation afterwards too. So after the fair wraps up and the vendors go home, then we'll open the doors back up again, and people can come back in for the public ghost hunt.
Okay.
That's June 27th. And then July 1st is a Wednesday. We have a free presentation on connecting the paranormal and history. Done by, so those are my friends. from Moonlight Paranormal Productions. So Bonnie and Becky are going to come down and kind of go over, walk people through those experiences and just let them ask questions. So, and it's, no fee. I think it starts at 6:30. It's all on the website. I can't remember the time off the top of my head on that one, but absolutely, we've got stuff, little things going on.
That's awesome. One last question for you.
Yeah.
How does everybody in town feel about you having a haunted location?
So there's a couple people that would like to see me spontaneously combust, for sure. But it's literally only a couple of people. The majority of the town, they've all been lovely to us, as far to us personally. We've had a few come up and say, listen, we're glad you're here. We're glad the building isn't just going to rot. And, we love that you're trying to bring some life back to town. So we love that. We're never coming in. Awesome. That's cool. They're like, we love you and Bob. We're glad you're here. We're never coming in. Perfectly fine. The paranormal is not for everybody.
No, here.
So and I'm fully aware, and I knew that coming into it, what I was walking into. So, but most of them have been lovely. And a lot of them have stopped in, see what's going on, and have come to the public ghost hunts, have come to some of the, the classes, and stuff like that. So they're not, they don't all hate me.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because a lot of times you run into that in a smaller town or in an area that has more religion in it. I don't know what Rollins is like, but like if you're in an area like that, then it tends to bring more, strife and animosity or whatever you want to
I
call
haven't
it.
had that. Well, I mean, like when we first opened, I did. I had that, like I said, there's this one woman in particular. Like I said, if I just lit on fire right now, she'd probably do the dance of joy. But it's not everybody. We've made friends with other business owners, lots of people in town, and they're just great people. They're solid, hardworking, just good salt of the earth people.
Awesome. Well, that is it. I appreciate you taking the time to be on with us.
Yes.
It's been great.
Glad to
Thank
meet
you for having me.
Yeah.
And did you have anything else to say, Tim?
I don't think so. Oh, sorry.
We have a team. No, it's fine. We have a team member we keep waiting to go into burst into flames going into chapel, but it hasn't happened.
Well, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but she can keep hoping.
Right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. There will be a recorded session that comes out Sunday as we are going to be investigating. And then next Wednesday, we have the Haunted Commercial Hotel on as our guest. So you guys, we do have podcast appearances that we're doing this week as well. And Friday night, join us for a deep dive at topics when we are doing the North American Dogman Project.
Yes.
So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, make sure you guys join our podcast for then 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Other than that, we will catch you next time, guys. Thank you.